On this episode, I'm going to give you my top 10 tips and tricks on playing live on stage. Hi, my name is Ray, and I've been playing guitar since I've been 13 years old, and I've been playing live shows since I was a teenager. And I played a lot of shows across the country in different types of bands. And I think what's really, really important is your stage presence, what you're doing on stage. Number one, make music that moves your audience and you. I think it goes without saying that you really can't expect your audience to move to your music if you're not moving yourself. You need to be the spark for that audience. And if you're up there looking bored or not moving around or showing any energy, the audience is going to see you and just think like, well, why should I be into this? Write great music, write great songs that creates emotion and show it on stage. Number two, use an inline guitar tuner and have a second guitar tuned up and ready to go. I'll be honest, forever I was against using an online tuner. Most of my guitars have locking nuts, so they don't really go out of tune all that much. So in my mind, I never thought it like, oh, I need to put an inline tuner in, because if I would go out of tune, it'd just be like a little bit. Well, eventually I started playing shows, and it's so embarrassing, but I would literally pull the guitar cord out of the amplifier. And I actually had some friends sit me down and almost had an intervention and said, Ray, you need to get yourself an inline tuner. And they're right. A couple of reasons. One is it's a kill switch, which is nice. So anytime if you just want to stop your guitar, you can push on the guitar tuner, boom, your signal's dead. And you can tune. You can tune, and you're not making those noises as you're tuning the guitar. Dang, 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 dang. And keep a second guitar ready at all times. There is nothing worse when you break a string and you have to ask members from the other bands playing, hey, can I borrow a guitar? Because I wouldn't let someone borrow my guitar. Or if you pulled out a pack of strings and started to restring a guitar and then tune it, you're just losing time. If you had any momentum with your live show, it's now dead. So always have a second guitar tuned up and ready to go. Number three, don't be a tree. Move around. There's nothing more than I cannot stand is seeing people on stage not moving. You have this stage, it's yours. Make the most of it. Move around. I always like to I used to call it the 3-second rule. I made a point to never stand in one place longer than 3 seconds. I was always moving around, moving up to the front of the stage, moving to the back of the stage, moving to the side, looking back at the drummer. That stuff matters. I mean, if you're just standing there and you're looking down at your guitar, it kind of goes back to number one here. I mean, you got to make music that's going to move people. And if you're not moving yourself, then what do you expect? Number four, match where you are with the other member of the band on the other side of the stage. Now, this goes for guitar players and bass players. Right off the bat, I gotta admit, I prefer bands that are 4 pieces, more so than 5 pieces. I never really liked 5-piece bands because there's just too many members up on stage. And then you always have 2 people on one side, 1 on the other. I really like 4-piece bands. The symmetry is just nice. And anyway, speaking of symmetry, I think it's important to follow wherever the other person is on stage. And that's something that I used to do a lot. Whenever I was on stage in a band where there's only 4 members, say it's me and then a bass player, I would always watch where he was at and kind of just sort of follow with him. And it just sort of looks cool on stage. It's all about the symmetry, which brings me up to my next tip 5. Form the V. Now, you may be asking yourself, what is the V? The perfect example of this would be the Ramones. Normally how they play, if you watch any footage of them, they form a V. They have Joey Ramone in the front with the microphone, and then Johnny and Dee Dee will be maybe 2 steps back behind them, and it creates this V. A better example is there's this band from Norway called Turbonegro, where they actually have 2 guitar players and a keyboard player. And they make this V even further. So you have the singer, then the bass player, lead guitar, and then behind them, further out, would be the keyboard player and then the rhythm guitar. And it just creates this V. And I think it's important to look good on stage. And is important? I don't know, but it's important to me. I think it's cool when you see a band and they look good on stage. Number 6, know when to go to the front of the stage and know when to fall back. I think it's really important to let each member of the band shine when it's their time. And no one likes someone who's just showing off for no reason. It goes without saying, if you have the lead singer of your band, they should be at the front of the stage singing. If you're playing guitar, if you're playing bass, there's no reason for you to be right in front of him or like next to him. You can come up, and kind of check in, but then fall back. The focus is when the chorus is going on or when the verse is going on, the singer's singing, people are watching them. Fall back. Now, when it's time to do a guitar solo, now is your time to go forward. Now you can go forward and do your guitar solo. And that being said, the singer and the other member of the band or members of the band should fall back a little bit to let you have your time to shine. If the bass player is doing a bass solo or something like that, or an intro, if any person in the band is doing an intro, let them go to the front of the stage. And then you can kind of come up with them. If the drummer is doing a drum solo, or say the song or is ending with the drum part, or the song starts with the drum part, fall back, move away, let everyone see the drummer. Don't be a hog. Let everyone in your band have time to shine. Number 7, don't leave the stage unless you're the lead singer. A pet peeve of mine has always been members on stage getting off the stage and going into the audience. Like someone's going to guitar solo and they're going to go into the audience. It's cheesy. And it's like, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get the audience into you, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. And it's like, you can get up in someone's face with your guitar. They're probably going to like you less because now you're just annoying them. Now, if you're the lead singer of the band, I think it's okay to go into the audience every once in a while. But just don't live down there. Go in, do what you're going to do, and get back. Why do I feel that way about singers? Because, again, they are the center of attention. If you're playing like something that's aggressive or punk rock, that kind of goes with the territory. Maybe sometimes could be expected. Like I'm thinking of the Cramps or any band where, the idea is the singer's supposed to be shocking and in your face, and that's okay. But if you're a bass player, if you're a guitar player, just stay up on stage. Number 8, move the way you would on stage at band practice. You go to band practice because obviously you're going to practice the songs. While you're there, you really should be practicing the moves you're going to do. Now, I'm not saying that you need to do Kiss synchronized moves or anything like that. But what I used to practice when I would go to band practice is certain parts of the song, I would okay, and here's the point where I move up to the front because I'm going to solo. Okay, here's the part where I'm going to fall back to the back with the drummer because the other guy is going to do something. There's a lot of times where I'd fall back, maybe a body movement. It all ends up becoming muscle memory. And I think that's what you want to try to strive for when you are practicing. To get it past, you have to concentrate what you're doing when you're on stage. You just make it all muscle memory. But not only that, but actually the movements that you do should become muscle memory. And if you see me play live, I just sort of go into autopilot mode. I'm going to move. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that because I've just practiced myself that way to do it. Number 9, don't brag about your band. Go on stage and just blow everyone away. Nobody likes a braggart. And I hate to tell you this, but if you're going to be bragging about your band, you're going to set yourself up for failure. Reason being is because, say if I talk to someone before I go on stage and I tell them how awesome my band is, well, then they're going to be expecting the greatest show on earth. Their expectations are going to be so high. And even if you're decent, they're going to be disappointed. So I believe in lower people's expectations. Whenever I used to talk to like other members of the bands that we're playing with or like people in the audience beforehand, I'd just sort of play it. I'd be low key, like, we've only played a couple shows. Whatever, and then get up there and just explode. And I think that's the way you should do it. Let the music do the talking. Number 10, play from your heart. Bill Hicks, the comedian, did a stand-up routine about this. And, he actually screams it at the top of his lungs. He's like, play from your fucking heart. And I agree with him. When you're up on stage, give it your all. Play like your life depends on it. Because people came out to see your band play. They came out to see a show. Give the audience not 100%, but 110%. They paid money to see you. And don't disappoint them. Even if there's one person in the audience, then you're playing for that person tonight. Because you're a musician, you're an entertainer, and that's what you're there to do. So step up to the challenge and play from your heart.
When did mediocrity and banality become a good image for your children? I want my children to listen to people who fucking rocked! I don't care if they died in puddles of their own vomit! I want someone who plays from his fucking heart!